All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where the CEO of one of the best promotional companies in boxing, Mayweather Promotion, goes by the name of Leonard Ellerbe, speaks his mind about Terence Crawford, rumors around the Terence Crawford-Errol Spence Jr. fight, and the stance that Terence Crawford has apparently taken by claiming that he will never fight certain PBC fighters. If you're not familiar, Terence Crawford went on a bit of a heated Twitter spree directed at the PBC fighters and apparently PBC itself. Well, Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s CEO of his promotional company, Mayweather Promotions, goes by the name of Leonard Ellerbe, responds, and very interesting take. And I always take what Leonard Ellerbe says very seriously because, my opinion, I think he's one of the best businessmen that I see in boxing. And I'll explain why in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where there's been a lot of hoopla caused by statements made by Terence Crawford regarding several issues around the PBC and the fights that he's going to have next, fights that he's going to take, things that he's going to do, things that he's not going to do. And these, all of those things were addressed in an interview by Leonard Ellerbe, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, and a guy that I think is one of the businessmen in boxing that I respect the most. And I say that I respect him because although I don't always like the answer that I hear, the answer is always honest, and the answer is always very, very sound. And that's coming from somebody like myself that has worked in the business world for a long time, worked in contracts for a long time, negotiated a lot of deals, worked for a lot of big companies, worked for small companies too, and entrepreneurial ventures, the whole nine. So I have, experience and an opinion based on my own personal experience, which is the only thing that, people really can have. That I think is really solid. A guy really knows what he's talking about. And what he says in this particular interview is enlightening if you know what you're listening for. Now, before I get into the details of it, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. And thank you specifically to everybody that supports in the super thanks, because that is the way the channels like this are able to continue to put out the content, because obviously, I'm not going to be sponsored by the PBC or Top Rank or Boxing Writers Association of America, or not going to give me interviews with people because, man, I'm going to tell you, and not that I want the interviews, let me be clear, because I'm going to tell you what I think, man. And, it's going to tick off half the people every single solitary time. You know what I mean? Without a doubt. So if you hear one of some of these bozos calling me a hater, just know that they're the half for this video. It's just going to be that way because in boxing, there's always two sides. There's always two sides to any issue. And if you look at the issue and you look at it and somebody feels like you're more on this side, a lot of times they get caught up in their feelings, but it's just part of the job. However, thank you to everybody that helps combat that by supporting in the super thanks, hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, coming to the live streams. But let's get to this, because I think this is a very good educational situation. Now, the reason I say that it's very educational is because these are very, from the outside looking in, from the point of view of a boxing fan or an observer, boxing is about the most transparent situation that we have, where you can look at the negotiations as before they even begin, when they're going on, after they take place. very fun conversations to be had, in my personal opinion, because I'm a fan of negotiations. I enjoy them. I enjoy seeing how they're playing out. I enjoy, I don't really enjoy being involved in them as much. However, Leonard Ellerbe is somebody that has a lot of experience making the biggest fights that have been made this century. And you cannot take that away from that man. Floyd Mayweather Jr., Gervonta Tank Davis, Canelo Alvarez are the three biggest names, or the biggest fighters, drawing fighters. Manny Pacquiao are the biggest drawing fighters of this century. And he has been involved as far as the pay-per-view sales, and specifically in America. And he's been involved with fights with every single solitary one of them, I do believe, on multiple occasions. So you have somebody that really, really knows the business. So he was asked, what does he think about what Steve So-Called Nelson had to say about the contract negotiations between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And then after that, he was asked about what he thinks about Terence Crawford saying that he will never fight certain PBC fighters. And I got to tell you, man, I tell you, I love the dude. I know sometimes he's probably not very happy with me. He's told me that he hasn't been happy with me over certain things. But look, man, I got to tell you, I love the dude because he always tells the truth. He cuts it right straight to you. I mean, uncut to the gut. Now, he very well may not give you all the details that he knows, but let me get to what he says, man. He basically is like, when he's asked about Steve Nelson, he says, who? Who is that? I don't know who that is. Well, Steve Nelson is a camp member, a friend of Terence Crawford. He said, huh? I mean, who? Basically, like, like, who is this guy? And because if I don't know who this guy is, who is he to be talking about it? But then he goes on and he says, look, I can't tell you everything that I know, but there are things that I know, right? And pretty much the way that I took it, and if he would like to correct me, feel free to correct me, that it was like, look, man, I don't pay attention to that, right? Don't pay attention to that, whatever, bro. He's got legitimate businessmen. That's what Leonard Ellerbe is saying. He's like, Terence Crawford's got legitimate businessmen that we're dealing with. And I can't tell you what's going on, but pretty much blah, blah, blah. That's what it got. That's what I got. Then he was asked about the fight with Keith Thurman and how he wouldn't fight Danny Garcia. And he said, look, man, I like how Terence Crawford is talking. I actually like this version where he's saying a lot of things. But look, man, he's like, look, man, basically saying what I continue to say. That, look, dude, you don't count out all your options, because some of the things that you really think are options may not really be options. And since they're really not options, you may not want to limit yourself or cut off any options that you have. Now, what was that? For me, that was a very polite way of saying, look, man, Terence Crawford don't know what his options are really, because there's so many things would have to play out, and don't count your chickens before they hatch, right? Saying you're not going to fight Errol Spence Jr., even acting like you're not going to fight Errol Spence Jr., if you're not going to fight Sean Porter, you're not going to fight Danny Garcia, you're not going to fight Keith Thurman. Okay, how do you know that those other things that you want to do are real options? And that really doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I'm telling you, from my point of view, he's literally doing the same thing that Terence Crawford is doing, the same thing that got Errol Spence Jr. in trouble negotiating with him, telling everybody what you want to do and what you're going to do, and telling people what you're not going to do. In the case of Errol Spence Jr., he says he's not going to fight Keith Thurman. So what does Terence Crawford do? Terence Crawford takes advantage of that and jacks the price up, right? And then everybody talking about Terence Crawford now is like, well, Terence Crawford, who was the quote unquote B-side to that deal, got all kind of stuff out of that he otherwise wouldn't have if Errol had not positioned himself in a way where it looked like it was his only option that he was willing to take advantage of. How is that any different than Terence Crawford doing it? And now you're dealing with not really a promotional outfit, but a platform and people that really do negotiate for every single solitary person, every fighter that you're trying to do business with. They have the ability to offer anybody and everybody what they want in order to get them to fight some of the people that they want to fight. And you don't think that may interrupt your ability to get certain things done? I'm telling you, man, I love this negotiation stuff, and I love that angle that Leonard Ellerbe took. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.